Predicting volcanic eruptions. Prior to modern volcanology, people had an extremely limited understanding of geomorphic processes. Causal explanations for volcanic activity ranged from the work of gods to the rays of the sun penetrating the earth, and the ability to foresee volcanic events was confined to directly witnessing warning signals such as the ground's movement and smoke rising from a crater. In contrast, modern geophysics has produced a vast of information related to volcanic formation and its causes, allowing scientists to better understand the interactions between the Earth's inner layers and surface. Unfortunately, however, while some volcanoes seem to operate according to consistent cycles, others do not follow a set pattern and may lie dormant for centuries before erupting violently and without notice, putting people's lives in danger. In order to better understand the timing and intensity of eruptive processes, research in the field is now primarily focused on the characteristic indicators that signal an impending eruption. In most cases, a volcanic eruption is heralded by a period of heightened seismic activity, with earthquakes becoming increasingly frequent, leading up to the actual event. The phenomenon is caused by the ascension of magma and volcanic gas through fissures in the Earth's crust, as pressure variances disturb underground rock formations, interfering with existing stress distributions. With the strategic placement of seismometers, geophysicists can trace the path of these earthquakes as they move along with molten rock and gas toward the surface. During active periods, scientists monitor seismic waves around the clock to detect subtle yet significant differences in the type and intensity of seismic activity. Vibrations are classified into 3 broad categories: short period, long period, and harmonic. The first of these are high-frequency shocks similar to those found near faults along tectonic plates and represent the initial collapse of material in the bedrock. If these weak signals amplify and begin to oscillate over greater durations, they may be taken over by long-period waves, a reliable sign that seismic activity is generating energy within the volcanic conduit or along its walls. Harmonic tremors, continuous low-frequency vibrations that are sometimes audible on the surface, are generally associated with the sustained underground movement of magma. A dramatic proliferation of long-period or harmonic events represents the most worrisome scenario, as this can indicate increased gas pressure within the volcanic chamber, often a direct precursor to an eruption. One of the most obvious features of this upward movement of magma and gas, and volcanism in general, is the presence of heat. As molten rock and gas accumulate in the center of a volcano, some of the thermal energy generated is transferred fluctuations in temperatures to detect the presence of volcanic activity below the surface. The simplest way to accomplish this is to send researchers with thermometers to nearby lakes or to the rim of the volcano to measure air and water temperatures. Though effective, this method puts scientists in danger of exposure to poisonous gases like sulfur dioxide, and also places them in the direct proximity of a potential explosive event. In addition, it is a challenge for field researchers to access volcanoes regularly, particularly those located in remote regions. To overcome these obstacles, volcanologists have turned to remote sensing equipment to help them monitor volcanic activity. Infrared thermometers can measure radiation in various wavelengths, making direct contact with the volcano's surface unnecessary. In addition, some sensors can represent thermal radiation as images. One such imaging instrument, ASTER, is capable of transmitting infrared images at regular intervals that can help scientists map changes in volcanic thermal patterns. In 2003, for example, ASTER helped detect thermal anomalies and a small plume of steam emanating from the summit of Mt. Shishaldin in Alaska, precursors to an eruption more than 2 months later that shot ash thousands of meters into the air. The measurement of ground deformation is another helpful tool for researchers, as the area an active volcano often swells, deflates, or shifts as magma moves in and out of its underground plumbing system. The distribution and rate of ground deformation provide clues about processes occurring within the volcano. Swelling at the summit of Mauna Loa in Hawaii, for example, occurs as magma moves into and expands the summit magma chamber. Such deformations are generally subtle and can only be detected with precise surveying techniques or sensitive tilt and strain meters. Ground movements of several meters can occur during a large earthquake or when magma forces its way to the surface along a rift zone. An increased rate of swelling, especially if accompanied by an increase in sulfur dioxide emissions and seismic tremors, is a sign of the high probability of an impending event. 8. Still, advances in predicting volcanic eruptions do not always result in success. In 1999, local residents were forced to evacuate their homes repeatedly due to official alerts of a pending eruption of Ecuador's Tungurahua volcano. When no cataclysmic event occurred, the people lost faith in the predictions and returned to their homes. The forecasting failures also led to inconsistent monitoring, and when consecutive eruptions occurred in July and August of 2006, nearby residents fled the area with little or no advance warning.